Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, señoras y señores, mesdames et messieurs. Welcome to this presentation on the method for water absorption for the assessment of cooking time, part of the RTB Foods annual meeting 2021. My name is Thierry Pran. I am a food technologist at the Alliance Bioversity and CIAT at the Cassava program. I will present on behalf of several contributors, John Belalcazar, Larry Moreno, Jorge Luna, Alejandra Ospina, Christian Duarte, Andrés Escobar, Hernan Ceballos, Xiaofei Zhang, Luis Augusto Becerra, and Dominique Dufour. In this presentation, we will see that cooking time is an important criteria to assess how long it takes for boiling cassava to become soft in relation to the softness sensory attributes identified by the work package 1. We will see that dry matter cannot predict cooking time, and that on the other hand, water absorption is a repeatable method with a significant correlation with cooking time. And having developed a stable water absorption protocol, we are currently implementing it for actual breeding activities to pre-select short cooking clones. At the beginning of RTB Foods, we selected a contrasted panel of genotypes from short cooking to long cooking, or more generally, from good cooking quality to bad cooking quality. We multiplied them and started to evaluate their cooking quality. We found some clones with stable and predictable cooking times, indicated with green arrows. We have a series at the beginning here, but also in the middle, and some clones stable with long cooking times. On the other hand, we found clones with highly variable cooking times, indicated in red. The short cooking clones tended to be softer, which is a key criteria for sensory evaluation. And we found that cooking time is important for acceptability because cassava should not take too long to cook. The current land races in Colombia typically boil in 15 to 30 minutes. So we set a target for breeding of less than 30 minutes. The conventional method to evaluate cooking time is to put cassava pieces in boiling water and to prod them with a fork until they become soft and record the time of the transition from hard to soft. There are several drawbacks. The method is slow, up to 60 minutes for long cooking genotypes. It is somewhat subjective because the assessment of the softness is by the operator, and it requires individual evaluation of several pieces and then to calculate the average. So in order to meet the objective of RTB Foods to integrate evaluation of quality criteria such as cooking time in the routine evaluation of improved clones, we need to develop a faster and more objective method. First, we thought about dry matter because dry matter is made mainly of starch, 80%, and starch is a determinant of cooking quality and texture properties of many products. For boiled cassava, we quickly found that this is not the case. There was no correlation or very little correlation between dry matter and cooking time, but also between dry matter and water absorption, and between dry matter and softness, as well as other texture parameters. So dry matter and starch are not major factors determining the boiling quality of cassava, which made us consider other components, such as cell walls and pectins, but this is another story. On the other hand, we found a link with water absorption. The short cooking genotypes were related to high water absorption, and the long cooking genotypes were related to low water absorption. When putting that on a graph, we found the following correlation equation and a good correlation coefficient of R square 0.63. With this, we can start to discriminate between short cooking genotypes and high water absorption, and long cooking genotype associated with low water absorption. We decided to use water absorption at 30 minutes simply because 30 minutes gave us better correlation with cooking time. When we look at 10, 20 minutes or longer, 40, 50 minutes, we found lower correlation coefficients. What happens is that at 10 and 20 minutes, the long cooking genotypes haven't absorbed much water yet, so we cannot discriminate very well between them. And on the other hand, above 30 minutes, the short cooking genotypes start to be overcooked and start to disaggregate. So we are not actually measuring water absorption anymore, but more the disaggregation and the loss of material from the samples. To finalize the water absorption protocol, now we use 8 pieces taken from 4 to 6 different foods, mixed and boiled together. We record the initial weight before boiling and the weight after 30 minutes. And we calculate the water absorption as the change in weight between before boiling and 30 minutes, expressed as a percentage of the initial weight. We have developed a color-coded cutting map to make sure that pieces from the different foods are mixed together and boiled together. So in this example, pieces from the red squares are put together for boiling, and the same for pieces from the blue squares and pieces from the green squares. So the method is faster than the fork method. We use 30 minutes for all genotypes. It is a simple weight measurement, so there is no more subjectivity. It is stable. As we evaluate several pieces together, we get average representative sample of the genotype, and it is repeatable. When we do several replications, we have correlation coefficients around 0.9 between replications. The correlation presented above was obtained from the dataset of period 3, collected between December 2019 and February 2020, and with the dataset of period 4 from January to March 2021, we were able to confirm the stability of the correlation over 2 years and for different ages of the plants at harvest. So the method is suitable in particular to screen out long cooking genotype for which the correlations can be considered linear to the left of the graph. For short cooking genotypes, we have some of them with water absorptions up to 40 or 45% when the cooking time reaches a minimum of between 15 and 20 minutes. The next step was to show how water absorption can be useful for actual breeding activities. In 2020, we used it to select short cooking clones among a population of biofortified cassava. The initial population was F1C1 with 3,200 clones, and we selected 390 clones that were advanced to CET using 4 selection criteria: water absorption, as well as dry matter content, beta-carotenoids, and total carotenoids. On the graph, you can see the difference between the selected population and the initial F1C1 population. In period 4, we are also using water absorption to evaluate the RTB Foods progeny, which we obtained by crossing the initial collection of cooking clones to study the inheritance of cooking quality traits. For periods 4 and 5, we will finalize the standard operating procedures for water absorption to make it available for RTB Foods partners. We will expand the dataset of quality traits of boiled cassava, including water absorption and cooking time. In period 4, we are starting to conduct sensory analysis, so we will be able to investigate correlations between water absorption and sensory traits. Water absorption is still a medium throughput method. At the moment, we do between 40 and 50 genotypes per day. So we will investigate predictive correlations with NIRS in order to upgrade to high throughput phenotyping with the target of doing 100 or more than 100 genotypes per day. Working with CIRAD, we will also investigate the link with pectins by analyzing the composition of pectins and looking for explicative factors of the water absorption based on the pectins. We are also uploading the data sets to Cassava Base and starting to manage the data in Cassava Base. We are also thinking of water absorption 2.0 to record the weights of the roots directly in the boiling water, suspended in water. As the roots absorb water during boiling, their volume will increase and their density will decrease gradually. So we should be able to measure a reduction of the weight when the roots are suspended in the water. This we start to see when we compare the weight in water of short cooking genotypes. We see a strong reduction. And for long cooking genotypes, the weight will decrease as well, but to a smaller, more limited extent. The benefits of such a method would be still to predict the cooking time, but also to collect information on the density and the volume of the roots, which then we can link with the structure of the cell walls and the composition of the pectins. Practically, weighting the roots suspended in water means that we wouldn't need to remove the roots for the weighting, and we could do continuous recording of the weight and automatize the process by connecting the scale to a data logger. Finally, I want to mention the institution and people behind this work, the Alliance Bioversity and CIAT, the Cassava program, RTB, Flagship 4 and Cluster 4.2 in particular, and then the whole team who have participated and contributed with a lot of enthusiasm to the development of this method, multiplying the test, trying different conditions until we got to a final protocol. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and talk to you soon for the questions and discussion. Thank you.